this is not good. And then I was like, is it good? It's good. Oh, it's good. Hi, welcome to my channel. So, as you can tell by the name of this video, I decided to read the books that Facebook recommended to me. Thankfully, they all were on Kindle Unlimited, so I did not have to buy any books for this video. So, the books that I'm going to be reading are the first book being The Coven by Harper L. Woods, the second book being Bow Before the Elf Queen by J.M. Cole. It's like Pearl, but with a K, and my accent's gonna mess that up, and then the third book being The Promise by Katrina M. Gray. So I don't know anything about these books going into them, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. The Coven. Let's talk about it. So I went into this book. I went into all of these books expecting to hate them. And there were things about it that I did hate. It's definitely not the most original piece of work that I've ever read. I was not the biggest fan of the beginning of the book. So the main female character of the book, the heroine, her name was Willow, and she at the beginning reminded me a lot of Selena, whatever her last name is, from the Throne of Glass series. Throne of Glass. Yeah. You know, like the whole badass, I don't need to tell anybody my plans, nobody needs to know what's going on, I'm gonna spin you for a loop and nobody needs to know. That's what she was giving, and it could be a little annoying in the beginning of the book. I wasn't a huge fan of it, and I was like, okay, like, calm down. And then the hero of the story, his name was Alaric, but he goes by Gray, and that's what he's called for most of the book. He gives Rhysand vibes. He gives the Bargainer vibes from the Bargainer series. Like, honestly, he makes a deal with her, she gets a tattoo. Like, it was the same thing. But he was entertaining, and there's twists that you don't expect, and you want them to get together. You watch their relationship build over the course of this book, and you're genuinely surprised by what's happening, and you want it to be a happy ending. And it really was better than I expected. I was like, this is not good. And then I was like, is it good? It's good. Oh, it's good. Again, I've read it before. But it did it well. It did it really well. And at the end of it, I came out of it with it being a 4-star read. Like, I genuinely liked it, and I cannot wait for the second book to come out in August. I'm gonna be counting down the days. It has become an anticipated book for me, which is really exciting because I did not think that Facebook would be able to recommend a book that was good, that would live up to what my expectations are for novels that I read, and it did. So that was a pleasant surprise. So the second book that I read for this video was Bow Before the Elf Queen by J.M. Cole. So this book I also went into with 0 expectations, only had the star rating, and I have to say that it did let me down a lot. My husband likes to say that I read books like this all the time, where, oh, they're elves, they're fairies, they're fae, they're whatever, and they have magic, but there's only a few of them, and blah, 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 blah. That's what he says. And I have read so many of those, and they are done well, and that's amazing, and I love them. And this just wasn't that. It was boring, to put it simply. The beginning dragged on. This book is 488 pages, and honestly, about 200 of those didn't feel necessary. There's no character development of the heroine, her name being Layala, I think. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But she hates the hero of this film for a vast majority of the film, she hates him, to put it simply. And I mean, that's fine. You can hate him and go from hate to love. We love enemies to lovers. It's a great trope. People love it for a reason. The problem is that she hates him, and she hates him, and she hates him for about 40% of this book. And then it's almost like she just like overnight, bam, oh, I don't hate him. In fact, I like him. And that's just not how it works. Like, there's no like inner turmoil to get to that decision. She just, bam, oh, no, I like him. And that's just not how emotions work. It didn't read well. It made the beginning of the book feel almost unnecessary. Like, what was that? Like, yeah, you don't go, like, you can't just insta love like that. And that's exactly what it was. It felt like insta love. She went from hate to love in a matter of like hours. In like book time, it was hours. Page wise, it's literally like the difference of a page, maybe a half a page. And that's just not good writing. It felt like very lazy character development. And the hero doesn't really have much either. Like, his entire like character, his entire being is, I love her. I've loved her for as long as I can remember, even though I've never met her, never spoken to her. I love her. And that's also not good. Like, that's worse than insta love. It's like not having your own thoughts, not creating your own emotions. Like, it wasn't a good read. It, like, again, I read this story a lot, so it was fine. It did what it needed to do, but it was boring and the characters weren't developed well. And so I can't recommend it to anyone. In my book, it's a 2 out of 5 stars. Surprise! So I did just record the intro to this video, and now I'm gonna record my thoughts on the last book before closing this out. But that's okay. Anyways, so the last book was The Promise by Katrina whatever Gray something. I went into this book knowing nothing, once again, outside of the ad, and the ad for this one was just the name of the book with the cover, so even less info than I went into the other ones knowing. Upon downloading this with Kindle Unlimited, I discovered that it is a poetry book. I hate poems. I know that that's a really strong take to have, but I hate poetry. I'm not the type of person to be super stuck in my emotions, so I have a hard time reading poetry and relating to it. So reading a poetry book, not something I ever seek to do. And it's okay though, because this has allowed me to step out of my comfort zone and read something that I wouldn't necessarily read on my own. That being said, I hated this book. I hated it. And my husband loves poetry, and I had him read part of it with me, and he hated it. And so I don't think that it's me not liking poetry for the reason for hating this book. The book felt very pretentious. It didn't feel like poems that were steeped in like emotion and feeling things and wanting to express those feelings in a relatable way, or a way to just have people understand what the author was feeling. That's not what it felt like. It felt like, oh, I feel this way about myself and I want people to feel sorry for me. That's what it felt like to me. And I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy reading 138 pages of poems that are, oh, he didn't pick me. Oh, it's because I'm ugly. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, I never get picked. Oh, boo, I don't get picked. That's what every poem was. At the end of the day, it was just that. The entire one poem after another is, oh, it wasn't me. Oh, I loved you, but you didn't love me. Oh, pick me. Oh, why didn't you pick me? And it was boring. 28 pages in, I was done. I was bored. I was like, what's the point of this? And that's what it continued to be. And I finished it only because I had to for this video, and I wish that I could say that I DNF'd it, because I would rather have done that than finished it like I did. It was terrible. One of the worst things I've ever read in my life. Definitely 1 out of 5 stars. If I could give it 0 stars, I would give it 0 stars. And I'm sorry I can't be more eloquent than that on the topic, but yeah, not a good time. So it's sad to say that the books in this video really went downhill. You know, I started out with the best one, which was great. It put me in high spirits. I expected good stuff based off of it. I was like, wow, maybe Facebook knows what it's talking about. And the second one, I was like, Facebook knows kind of what it's talking about, but maybe just will recommend things that it knows I like. And then the third book came along and I was like, oh no, I don't know what these ads, they didn't feel targeted. Just based off of the last two books, it didn't feel targeted, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. It was fun to read them though, I will say. I definitely would not have picked up any of these books without having seen the ads and decided to do something with them. But I'm glad that I did, because a few of them were really good. I like that it took me outside of my comfort zone a little bit. I wish it had ended up better, but I'm glad that it did it, and I'm happy to do something like this again, and I hope that you like it and will continue watching. Feel free to give this a like, and thank you so much. Y'all have a great day. Bye.